Good day, this is chapter 5, lesson 2 of the Reading Philippine History. We will talking about the brief history of Mindanao Island. We will be discussing 3 topics about Mindanao. These are the facts about Mindanao, Mindanao's ethics groups, cultural and religious identity, and the most importantly, the history of Mindanao Island. Maayong adlaw. Here are some facts about the Mindanao. It is the second largest island in the Philippines after Luzon. It is considered the country's pioneer frontier because of these large expanses of undeveloped of the land. Mindanao is home to 3 sultanates, Maguindanao, Maranao, and Sulu. Also, Mindanao measures 293 miles north to south and 324 miles east to west. It is known for its rugged, faulted mountains, volcanoes, including Mount Apo. Mindanao is also home to diverse flora and fauna. And the home is the most iconic bird in the country, the Philippine eagle. Mindanao is also a lot of talent. There are dances Mindanao, namely Lugso, Itik-Itik, Sagayan, Singkil, Karasaguyon, Asik, Udol, Maglangka, and Pangalay. There are more interesting things about Mindanao. Its crops like corn, rice, abaca, bananas, pineapples, mangoes, and coconuts. There are natural resources like timber, gold, nickel, iron, and coal deposits. And they also have the chartered cities, which are cities that form their own tradition, administrative, and business practices. Some of those cities are Zamboanga City, Cotabato City, Davao City, Cagayan de Oro, and Butuan. The history of Mindanao Island. Mindanao history is rich and diverse. Mindanao was believed to be a shorter term for Maguindanaos, the largest sultanate in the region. Many of foreigners called the Quadrat and Maguindanaos sultanates of Mindanao with an apostrophe to indicate the abbreviation. Now, here is the brief history timeline of Mindanao. The pre-colonial period. On 1565 to 1898 is known as the Spanish colonial period, during which the Philippine Islands were ruled as the Captaincy General of the Philippines within the Spanish East Indies, initially under the Viceroyalty of New Spain, based in Mexico City until the independence of the Mexican. Spanish colonization in 16th century. In 1565, Miguel Lopez de Legazpi conquered the Philippines and established its capital in Manila. Spain would rule in the Philippines for over 333 years. The Spanish goals for colonizing in the Philippines were both economic and spiritual. The American period, 20th century, way back 1898 to 1946, is known as the American colonial period and began with the outbreak of the Spanish-American War in April 1898, when the Philippines was still colony of the Spanish East Indies, and concluded with the United States formally recognized the independence of the Republic. And the next is the World War II. On December 8, 1941, Japan launched an attack on Commonwealth of the Philippines, 10 hours after their attack on Pearl Harbor. The Peace Agreement. The 1996 final peace agreement divided the mechanism for implementation of the 1976 Tripoli Agreement in 2 phases. Phase 1, 3 years, were allotted for establishment of the Special Zone of Peace and Development, the Southern Philippines Council for Peace and Development, SPCPD, and the Consultative Assembly. And the 1987 Peace Agreement is a treaty is an agreement between two or more hostile parties, usually countries or governments, which formally ends a state of war between the parties. In 1970s, with the declaration of martial law by President Marcos in 1972, the MNLF began an armed separatism insurgency against the Philippine state. From 1972 through 1976, a ferocious war between Muslim separatism rebels and the Philippine military raged throughout the southern Philippines. A post-war or post-war period is the interval immediately following the end of a war. The term usually refers to a varying period of time after World War II. On 2014, the Comprehensive Agreement on Bangsamoro was the final peace agreement signed between the government of the Philippines and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front on March 27, 2014 at the Malacanang Palace in Manila, which eventually led to the creation of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region and Muslim Mindanao. On the other recent years of Mindanao, efforts to address historical issues, promote economic development, and ensure lasting peace continue. And despite its challenges, Mindanao remains a region of cultural diversity, natural beauty, and economic potential in the Philippines. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you have very something for our lesson. Daghang salamat.